Hey, so this is going to be again an improvised video where I'm going to explain the concept of vanishing FDs. That's how I've been calling them. Um, Essentially, in Infinite Craft, there is a big culture around what we call first discoveries, which is this little cool little message that you have under your item when you're the first person to ever make it. By the way, Infinite Craft is a browser game where you combine elements and you combine two elements and you get a reply from it. For example, water and lava might be stone or obsidian, I don't remember, and so on and so on and so on. And if you're the first person to make um, an element, you get first discovery on it. Um, but Before I explain what vanishing first discoveries are, I think it's important that we understand how first discoveries work. Because it's logical, but it's important to have this knowledge very set in stone in order to not get confused later. So, um, this is you. You make recipe. You make recipe. So you so let's say you craft an item, like you mix A plus B, and the computer doesn't know what A plus B does because obviously this is not the one who's supposed to do this. So what it does is that it wraps this little recipe and it sends it over to the server. Now there is actually multiple parts for the server, but I'm going to simplify it. What the server does, and I repeat, this is a simplification of what happens. What it does is it's gonna check if the recipe um, it's gonna check if the recipe is in the server. So it's gonna look through the list of like a lot of recipes, and let's say that at one point it finds yeah, A plus B might be as horrible, but A plus B equals C. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna directly take it and send it back to your computer, and so you get the item C from it. Now, since this item is already in, since this recipe has already been made, it is not a first discovery. However, if A plus B was not made before, this is a brand new recipe, no one has tried it before, the server is going to ask the AI what A plus B does. And the AI is going to reply, it's going to do its little AI math, and it's going to go back with the reply A plus B equals C. And so what the server is going to do, first of all, it's going to save this recipe. So if someone else does A plus B does A plus B, it's not going to ask the AI again, and it's just going to see that in its list of recipes, um, it is in it, so it just takes it from the list of recipes and it sends it back to you. And it also has a second part of the database which manages the items that exist. And so it has a list of items, so it's gonna add the item C to the database. I mean, no, it's gonna check if the item that you got, which is C, is in the database. If it is, you just get the item normally, no problem. But if it isn't, you get a first discovery on it because you're the first person to get it. And it sends back A plus B equals C. And you get the item C and you're happy. So, what it does, you sent the recipe. The server checks if it has it in the recipe list. It doesn't. It sends the recipe to the AI. The AI sends back the recipe with the reply. The server checks if no, the server adds the recipe to the list of recipes. It checks if the item exists in the database of items. If it does, you get the item back with first discovery on it. If it already exists, you get the item back, but not with first discovery on it. Now, let's say that you lag, that you have a bad connection. Happens to all of us, right? You have moments where your connection just fucks up for a second. So let's um, let's just restart from the ground up. I don't know how much I can rewind. Hopefully a lot. Okay, that's enough. So you send you send um you send a recipe. You send the recipe A plus B to the server. Now your connection dies out. Your connection dies out. It dies. But you send the packet. But now it's dead. So what is it gonna do? Um, well, since you're so essentially how computers work is that online they constantly um, online when you communicate with a server, it's going to enable a session with you, which what it means essentially is that it's gonna they're gonna communicate together while everything happens. So okay, now I'm going to try to simplify it. So you send the packet. So the packet, the recipe is now here. So your recipe is here, right? But this bridge back to you is broken. It's like you can't go there anymore because like there's a connection error or something. So the server does all its job. It adds the AI. It adds itself to the different like database. And when it tries to go back, well, surprise, your reply gets lost. Your reply gets lost, and you never get the item back. So what it does for you is that your two items are like on top of each other. They're gonna blink for a minute, and then they're gonna stop blinking, and they're gonna give nothing. But if you put them together again, and you now have Wi-Fi, like let's say you did this, the server added the recipe and the item to its database, but you never received the item. But the server has the recipe and the item. So, if you try to remake the recipe, even if you are the first person ever to make this recipe, you're not going to get first discovery on it because when the server is going to check to see if the item should give a first discovery, it won't because it will see that oh no, someone already got this item. This is not a first discovery, so you're gonna get your item back without the first discovery. So you send A plus B. It says A plus B. Yeah, it's already in my recipe, so I'm just gonna send back the results. And that's how it works. That's how sometimes some items have no first discovery on them. Now, this is the first case scenario for why an item might be might get lost. There's other reasons, some that I understand more than others, and I'm not gonna get into them because they're a little complicated and like I'm not even sure myself. Even all of this, like all I've explained you right now, all this server business with like the item list and the recipe list, all of that is an assumption. It's an assumption from a lot of experiences that we've had with the game, where we've noticed that some behaviors would not make sense except if the game worked that way. Um, especially like if you've seen my video on dead elements, you know that getting the right capitalization for an item fixes the other item, which means that there must be an item list that is being checked. It makes more sense if you've seen my videos on dead elements, which is also on the channel. So that's really about it for vanishing first discoveries. I've made this video because someone asked on Discord. Um, I mean, I was just nitpicking because they said that every item has someone that has first discovery on them, which is technically not true because now you know that sometimes FDs, first discoveries, like to vanish. And sometimes it's due to connection error, sometimes it's due to a server error, sometimes it can be due to, I don't know, a bug with your game or whatever, like some unpredictable things that happen with networking in general. So yeah, that's about it. Very simple video. More stuff is gonna come soon. I have more time now. See you. Bye bye.